Welcome to the bonus recording of the Faith and Work podcast. Those who have already listened to our guest on their favorite podcast app will know that we record a bonus question or two for you on our YouTube channel. If you're finding us here first on our YouTube platform, we invite you to listen to the full recording on Connecting Faith and Work. Our nonprofit organization, Ambassadors for Business, has networking tools and resources at www.afbnl.com. You can also hear other podcasts where we talk with industry leaders to gain insight on how to share faith in the marketplace and the impact it has going forward. Our link is www.connectingfaithandwork.com. Enjoy what we share. I have with me Taylor Blom. Most businesses have to choose between making a profit or making a significant impact in the world. Nextdoor Photos is a rapidly growing real estate photography company that partners with impact-driven entrepreneurs to create wealth-generating businesses that serve realtors locally while providing sustainable jobs for vulnerable, rescued, and underserved populations globally. Through a unique business model that utilizes a redemptive supply chain, NDP has 250 and growing team members in the Philippines, Kenya, and Nepal, as well as 35 and growing here as well locations in North America. NDP is on a mission to create 10,000 meaningful jobs over the next 10 years while helping realtors win by publishing listings faster. Taylor, it's so good to have you with us. I've had the privilege of watching you kind of from the back end as the owner of my company. His wife is so heavily involved in your company, and it's been just a real joy to see what it is you guys are doing and what a unique business model you have. So Taylor, let's talk a little bit about your purpose of your business, how you figured that out, and where how the business plan kind of came together, who mentored you, any of that you want to talk about. I'm wide open.
Yeah, so having started a real estate photography company kind of on my own, it was actually called Front Door Photos, grew that, started it in West Michigan and grew that, pretty successfully for 3 years, had a growing team of photographers and really had a lot of expertise in the sales and the marketing and the media capture and edit side of things. But just honestly didn't have a lot of business leadership experience. And so, that's when I actually met a guy named Paul, who's my co-founder. He was doing some business consulting in West Michigan, and we actually sat down for a conversation. And he right away saw a whole bunch of things that I didn't see, right? Just because he's a couple decades older than I am, a whole bunch more business experience, and he had come from high impact driven organizations that really did set out to make an impact for God's kingdom through business, and just had a lot of skills with finding the right team, building the systems, having the business model fine tuned. What does it look like to grow and scale? I have learned, and still am learning. I mean, it's 5.5 years in. We still have a great relationship, but through the course of that original conversation, really learning a lot in having the baseline, really agreement and opportunity to use business. We thought business is an incredible way, to advance God's kingdom, and it's probably an underutilized tool that I think that God's given us to do that. And so right away felt comfortable, talking through what it could be like to partner together, and eventually, through a very quick process, it just was really confirmed that this is something that we were meant to do together. And so I think, partnership in business can go sideways pretty easily if you're not on the same page with a lot of different things. For us, kind of the North Star, if you will, has always been and will always be kingdom impact, and everything builds around that. And so, we're so highly aligned in that the partnership has worked so well that we have been able to grow such an incredible team of local owners and people on our leadership team at Nextdoor Photos who are aligned with that mission and vision. And when that is really kind of the heartbeat, and that's like the drum that everyone is marching to, it just, it makes it so tight knit, and not that there's no issues or there's never any disagreements. Obviously that's going to happen, but that's probably, one of the key relationships in my life that's taught me a lot about what does it mean to be a servant leader, and how can you do that in business to help drive success and impact at the same time.
Taylor, let's talk a little bit about the support system you have from the other countries. How did you get involved in that? Did you seek them out? Did someone come to you? Tell me how that came about and the impact that that's having in the lives of the people at the other end of this.
It came about in a short answer, in a really unexpected way, as a lot of things do. We, from the beginning, like I mentioned, wanted to create a company that first and foremost exists to advance God's kingdom. And at the onset, we had no idea what that was going to look like, but we knew God was going to present opportunities for us and really create doors for us to walk through. And so that's what really happened with our impact-driven, redemptive supply chain, our network of at-risk or underemployed people who are editing all of our media. And really, we knew there was an opportunity earlier on to create an impact through that, because just the nature of the business, we're editing 150,000 photos plus every single month. And so the turnaround that needs to happen to not only capture the media quickly, but to get the media back to the realtors quickly, makes it so that we needed to take advantage of a global editing solution and run on multiple time zones. Take advantage of when our photographers shoot all day, our editors edit all night, our time, and then the media is ready to be delivered the next day. And we were already employing some of those strategies earlier on. But then in the beginning of 2017, my business partner, Paul, actually took a trip to the Philippines and really to have a conversation with an existing real estate media partner. At the time, with what we knew that our growth and scale could grow to, there wasn't any single one solution where we could be like, hey, we're going to go with them, just because we've grown so fast that, there's so much that goes into professionally editing a photo that we just didn't have any kind of ready-made solutions off the shelf that we could use. And so he was actually there interviewing an organization just to check them out. And one of his friends was a key leader in overseeing the Vineyard Church in Asia, and just happened to be in Cebu, Philippines at the same time. And said, hey, you should come to church with me on Sunday. They were in church, and it was a small church kind of outside of town in a really tough area of the city. And that's when we met who is now our partner for our Cebu, Philippines operations and our Kathmandu, Nepal operations. An incredible guy who God had called to the Philippines to launch a business process outsourcing company that specifically employed men and women rescued from human trafficking. And at the time, wasn't doing any editing of media, wasn't doing any work that had to do with real estate photography. Was doing some QuickBooks management, database management, just some back office work. And my business partner Paul had such an amazing connection with him, like really smart, MBA, high level business guy with this huge heart to make an impact. And so actually rerouted a big part of his agenda while he was there to spend more time with him. And through the course of several conversations and the like-minded and like-heartedness, we actually started working with them on some of our accounting and database management work. And then, the partnership was going so well that we just said, hey, we know this is kind of out of left field. And they had, I think, 12 or 14 team members at the time. Would you consider being our media hub for our real estate editing needs with photos, videos, floor plans, etc.? And I don't know if he knew quite what he was getting into at the time, but he said yes. And so over the next several months, we started training them up and onboarding them. And, 4 years later, there's over 350 team members that have been employed because of that work in Cebu and in Kathmandu, which is just, all you can point back to divine intervention 100% on that one, right? Being in that place at that time, it's just been amazing. And then our other editing partner operates out of Nairobi, Kenya, and that really is a mission specifically to help younger people who are trained and educated find a sustainable job, because there's such a high unemployment rate for qualified people who are trained, especially in young adults in Kenya. That we found an opportunity. We found the right partner to help lead it with local leadership. And that started a year and a half ago. And that team grew to over 55 people in just over a year. And so that growth is being accelerated, and opportunities are being presented for people who need an opportunity and who are doing such an incredible job. So again, going back to partnership, we love to partner. We're not about to say, hey, we're just going to launch our own editing team in another country and run it remotely. We believe in local leadership. We believe in empowerment. We believe in a partnership model where there are things that other people can do better than we can, especially people who are insightful and trained on how to create a professional workplace where people who have been rescued from human trafficking can work in a safe environment where they're continuing to get the help and the resources they need to again walk that last mile of restoration.
Yeah, what a win-win-win all around. I just really want to thank you again for sharing with us today. I just pray blessing upon blessing in your life, your business, and the opportunities that God, some would call it coincidence, and we know better. We know that it's God directing our lives when we listen to his calling. Thank you again, Taylor. We just pray for you and may God watch over all that you are doing and accomplishing. Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much.
We are grateful to have such awesome guests here on Connecting Faith and Work podcast. Be sure to listen to new episodes released on the 10th, 20th, and 30th of every month. Thank you for listening.